Midnight of May 6th, Indian Air Force's fighter planes were ready. Scalp cruise missiles, Hammer precision bombs, and kamikaze drones were ready. For the last 12 days, in a secret control room commanded by NSA Chief Ajit Doval, a special team of defense forces was planning, completely focused on gathering precise intelligence on terrorist camps within Pakistan and POK. 2 weeks ago, the bloody terrorists had said, "Go tell Modi."
तो जा मोदी को बता.
The Prime Minister's message was clear.
देश की बेटियों की सिंदूर की कीमत तुम्हें चुकानी होगी पाकिस्तान.
A mission to avenge and get justice for the Indian women who lost their husbands in the deadly Pahalgam terror attack. Operation Sindoor, a unique tri-services operation of the Air, Navy and Army. May 7th between 1 and 1:30 a.m. 24 strikes by our fighter jets and drones blasted 9 centers of terrorist groups LET, Jaish and Hizbul Mujahideen, 4 in mainland Pakistan and 5 in POK, killing over 70 terrorists and injuring 60 of them. Most importantly, Markaz Subhanallah camp in Bahawalpur, the main headquarters of Jaish-e-Mohammed, the perpetrators of the 2019 Pulwama attack. With it, Abdul Rauf Azhar, brother of Masood Azhar, mastermind of the IC-814 hijacking and one of India's most wanted. And inside Masood Azhar's residence, 10 members of his family and 4 close aides. Then, LET headquarters in Murid K, where perpetrators of the 26/11 Mumbai attacks, Ajmal Kasab and David Headley were trained. Shawain Allah camp in Muzaffarabad, POK, an LET training center which had a hand in the Pahalgam attack and the earlier Sonmarg and Gulmarg attacks in 2024. Also gone in smoke, Markaz Abbas, 13 kilometers from the LOC. This LET camp trained Fidain suicide attackers. Next morning, May 7, 10 a.m., matching the symbolism of Operation Sindoor, 2 female officers, IAF Wing Commander Vyomeka Singh and Colonel Sophia Qureshi of the Army, jointly briefed the media, signaling Hindu-Muslim unity as well. Colonel Sophia was the first woman commander of the Indian Army contingent at Force 18, where other ASEAN countries' contingents was led by men. In November 2020, Wing Commander Vyomeka led a key rescue mission in Arunachal Pradesh, navigating through harsh weather and high altitudes. After the Uri attack, a surgical strike was done after 12 days. After Pulwama, the Balakot strike was also done 12 days later, and now after the Pahalgam incident, Operation Sindoor has been 14 days later, the largest strike of them all. A flustered Pakistan and its internet bogies tried to spread news about shooting Rafale and Indian Army bases, but PIB quashed it as false. Just after an hour, a frustrated Pak Army started heavy shelling from across the LOC. That unfortunately killed 15 Indian civilians, including 4 children and also a soldier in India's border villages, leading to collateral damage for our country as well. The best part is that the IAF conducted the operation without entering Pakistani airspace, as Scalp missiles have a range of over 250 kilometers, while Hammer has a 50 to 70 kilometer range, and kamikaze drones or loitering munitions are GPS enabled. With the deepest hit being Jaish-e-Mohammed headquarters in Bahawalpur, 100 kilometers inside Pakistan, it was within range of the new tech. Even though in Operation Sindoor, India didn't target any Pakistani military installations, to be true to its resolve to de-escalating the crisis. Yet on the night of May 7th and 8th, Pakistan's retaliatory drones and missiles moved towards Indian Army installations in 15 cities. But India activated its Sudarshan Chakra, the S-400 air defense system that smashed them. Then used Harpy drones to neutralize Pakistan's HQ-9 missile launchers, air defense systems in Lahore to stop Pakistan from escalating. On the night of May 8th, Pakistan tried to launch another drone and cheap Hamas rocket-style attacks on Indian Army installations in Jammu, Punjab, Rajasthan, but their actions were brilliantly foiled once again. But how did India keep up the pressure on Pakistan in the last 2 weeks that led to the operation? How did terrorists plan and exploit security lapses in the first place? How India is correcting that and chasing them out of their hideouts? This is our Pahalgam Part 2. Tensions had begun just a few hours after the Pahalgam attack. The IAF had started conducting Akraman drills with Rafale jets, while the Indian Navy's missile destroyer INS Surat tested a surface-to-air missile successfully. Pakistan had started sweating as it put its military on full alert, started a naval live-fire exercise, a missile test in the Arabian Sea, and its systems are closely tracking any Indian aircraft movement. Pakistan's unprovoked fire and shelling across the LOC and Indian Army's fierce retaliation has been continuously going on since the day of the attack. However, it was India that pulled out its diplomatic Brahmastra, turning off the Indus water tap, which can potentially leave 80% of Pakistan high and dry, especially millions in Punjab and Sindh who rely on agriculture. A bold step because it's a 1960 treaty that has stayed put through wars and many big terrorist attacks. Under the cover of desilting, it has stopped the flow of Chenab River such that water levels have dropped from 25 feet to 1.5 feet, allowing locals to cross the river on foot, while unilaterally accelerating 5 hydroelectric power projects on the Jhelum and the Chenab rivers without securing Pakistan's approvals as required under the treaty. India would also want to restart the Tulbul barrage on Jhelum River to control the release of water, capable of triggering either a flood or drought in POK or Pakistan. Plus, we have sent back all Pakistanis living in India except long-term visa holders and have shut the Wagah-Attari border. So strict that a CRPF Jawan has been sacked for concealing his marriage with a Pakistani woman, made all Pakistani military officers in the Pakistani High Commission in New Delhi to leave, and has withdrawn 25 of its own officers from the Indian High Commission in Islamabad. Pakistan also responded with its airspace closure, as did India, which can cost Indian carriers 300 crore rupees a month to circumvent their flights around Pakistan. But they lost 700 crore after Pulwama in 2019 as well, and they braved it firmly for national interest. Shutting trade, India has banned all imports and exports with Pakistan, even indirectly like via Dubai. With India supplying 60% of Pakistan's pharma raw materials, therapeutic items and ingredients, it will hit Pakistanis very hard as the cost of medicines could rise tenfold. So in revenge, they have put on hold the 1972 Simla Agreement, which is laughable because that agreement is as toothless as Pakistan's claim of not supporting terror. While India will try to press the US, China and Russia, even Saudi Arabia and the UAE, to halt arms sales and financial support to Pakistan to keep it diplomatically isolated, yet, it has reportedly raised alarms inside Pakistan, with Hafiz Saeed's security outside his home being increased with former commandos from the Special Services Group. POK is already in a state of emergency, with over 1,000 madrasas shut down as precaution. In villages like Chakoti, located just 3 kilometers from the border, parents are keeping children indoors and bunkers are being reinforced. Through all this, while the NI investigators have been working hard tracing digital footprints to the safe houses of terrorists in Muzaffarabad and Karachi. Yet, then uncovering how TRF's main plotter Kasauri had actually recruited two locals, Adil Thokar from Anantnag as the main guy and Asif Sheikh from Sopore to be his sidekick. Around a decade ago, Thokar was just a part-time teacher, but when he started attending funerals of local militants killed in encounters, he came in contact with people linked to terror organizations.
जिहाद में जुड़ जाओ.
And without telling anyone, legally crossed over via Attari border, going to POK, where he received ideological and arms training, meeting and collaborating with top LET commander Farooq Ahmed and Hashim Musa, a former para-commando of the Pakistan Army, who was also part of the attack. 8 months before Pahalgam, back in October 2024, Thokar was the one who helped Paki terrorists Hashim Musa and Talha, with their sophisticated modern weapons, cross the LOC through Jammu's rugged and remote Poonch Rajouri sector, and guided them to enter Kashmir, possibly via the dense forests of the Mughal Road. Hiding deep in the forest, they used code names like Musa, Yunus, while talking on Chinese messaging apps, similar to how they did during the Pulwama attack. But unlike the old bulky ones with antennas, they use new Chinese satellite smartphones, like the ones by Huawei, that integrate satellite GPS, texting, calling and internet access, making it extremely difficult to track, which were used during the attack to remain in real-time contact with their park-based handlers, as if a control room operation ran from there, a pattern similar to the 26/11 Mumbai attacks. More explosives were uncovered in later search operations stored inside Adil and Asif's houses that were demolished to set a precedent to deter local youth from joining Pakistani terrorists. India's security lapse. We made mistakes, as the government deftly admitted in the all-party meeting. We could not prevent the attacks. Baisaran was opened earlier than usual, without informing security. But reports say it is opened most times of the year, except during extreme snows. The real problem is that the nearest checkpost is too far, at the base of the hill, 10 to 11 kilometers away, where the 3rd Battalion of Rashtriya Rifles and the 116th Battalion of CRPF are stationed. That's why the forces took such a long time to reach, because it was only the first 2.5 kilometers where they could travel on ATVs and motorbikes. The next 4.5 kilometers was a muddy, slushy path, meaning they had to run all the way up on foot to the meadow. However, in early April, RAW and IB did issue alerts.
Suspicious elements near Srinagar's foothills can attack tourists.
And the forces did act swiftly, increasing patrolling for 2 weeks around Dachigam National Park and Nishadbagh areas of Srinagar. Wondering if an attack was planned for April 19th, the Prime Minister's scheduled visit to flag off the first ever train from Katra to Srinagar, which was eventually postponed due to bad weather. And did they then shift their target to the Baisaran meadow, wrecking it in casual clothes on April 20 and 21st, while the forces were hunting for them in Srinagar? But without any leads, the Srinagar search was ironically called off on the very morning of the Pahalgam attack, of which there was no specific intelligence. The systemic issue is that after the 2016 Pathankot attack, even though a high-tech, comprehensive, integrated border management system strengthened the counter-infiltration grid along the 778-kilometer LOC, the surveillance by drones to detect hideouts has clearly proved to be ineffective due to the thick canopies of the Pir Panjal forest. And in fact, there were no cameras or drones present at Baisaran, despite it being a high-risk zone. Even the 3rd Rashtriya Rifles was moved to the eastern Ladakh sector in 2020 to cater to clashes with China, and was just being partly redeployed in Mughal Road near Baisaran when the incident occurred, leaving the 116th CRPF Battalion alone guarding Mughal Road's 10-kilometer buffer zone around Baisaran Valley for the last 5 years. terrorists exploited these security vacuums and started to build even more hideouts in the dense forests and natural caves of the vulnerable Pir Panjal ranges, clearly showing the challenge of how the two-front border confrontation has divided and overstretched our security resources. On top of that, the government freezing defense hiring during the pandemic led to an overall deficit of 120,000 personnel in the army. Corrective measures are being taken, with 17 to 18 vulnerable points in Pahalgam being secured with CRPF pickets and drone surveillance. And the 72nd Infantry Division replaces Rashtriya Rifles in Ladakh so that it can be fully redeployed to Jammu, which is great but a little late. Yet, there really isn't any substitute for good old-fashioned regular patrolling in the forest and having local informants on the ground. Cat and mouse game. When Pakistani terrorists stole a couple of phones from tourist dead bodies, it became a small yet important digital crumb that security agencies started following, helping to locate the terrorists in the forest near Hapatnar village in Anantnag. Unfortunately, before forces could reach, they managed to escape by taking advantage of the dense terrain. Days later, the security forces again intercepted them and a brief firefight erupted in Kulgam's woods. Yet the terrorists melted away again like smoke in a storm. Though unlike earlier, when terrorists would forcibly stay and eat at villagers' homes, the desperate attackers have been storming homes at dinner time, seizing rotis and rice and fleeing before forces can track and hunt them down. Which also shows that many local Kashmiris are not supporting these terrorists, but could be helping the forces with information. In fact, protesting with candlelight marches, which never used to happen before. Indian naval officer Lieutenant Vinay Narwal's wife, whose heartbreaking image went viral, came out in support of them.
There should be no hatred towards Muslims or Kashmiris,
making her a target yet again, this time abused by trolls. But in the end, the government sent a message of Hindu-Muslim unity by making a Hindu and Muslim female officer as the face of Operation Sindoor, which was a commendable strike that will make Pakistan think twice before trying another terrorist attack. We hope that the direct perpetrators of the attack are caught soon enough. Thankfully, what was turning into a deadly war between two nuclear-armed nations has finally reached ceasefire and hopefully to peace now. Bisbo's Limerick. In silence the mountains had cried as brave sons of India died. But Sindoor struck back with fire and track, and justice flew in with the tide. You will also find these sources listed in our video description section.